Kraft, owner of Smoking Dog, 34 High Street. I mentioned to Sean at the meeting last week, I just wanted to bring it up formally. Could you give us an update on the old shoestring building and where we're at with that?
We are currently, well, I believe the attorney is working on a request for proposal for to go out, for.
Yeah, correct. So I can give a quick update on that. So, at the last meeting, we approved going into RFP. So it's going out because it is government-owned property, has to go out, the proper channels to be bidded on. And once that gets submitted, we'll entertain individual companies or individuals who want to purchase the property based on what it's worth and what they're submitting, their business plan, and then we'll review it here on the UEZ, and then hopefully at some point be able to hand it off and put that back on the tax rolls. That's the idea.
Do we still have the water problem?
No, that's
No.
resolved.
It has been?
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions? That was it? Okay, sorry. Louis, go
Oh,
ahead.
yes.
Yeah.
Just two questions. What's the status of the Arbor program and any additional funds for the second generation?
What was the first question, Louis?
What's the status with the current fund?
The current fund.
Yeah.
Which fund? First generation, second generation?
Oh yeah, you forgot you had two
Right now,
funds.
they're all current, and we are now finally getting funding from the state to be able to fund programs that we're looking to do here through our 5-year plan. So I'm not sure, was there a specific question on the funding?
Oh no, what's how much, what's the current funding do you have for the
You
UEZ?
got here late, Louis. We gave the treasury report. We'll just do it again for your information. So our starting balance for the month was $544,488 and change. Loan payments of $11,742, interest credit of $1,483, and we had an ending balance of $557,714.
Oh, good. I want one
And
question.
everyone's current, Louis, so.
Okay,
any
thank you. I
bills-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
How could my housing citizen apply for a fund to UEZ, or it had to be business?
It has to be a UEZ business, Louis.
Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate for the answer.
Yep, you're welcome.
Can I make a comment here about the shoestring building? I have a friend of mine who's a developer.
Right.
The only issue we have is that he got a plan, got an idea of acquiring the liquor license from the old house, right, and moving it over. From what I understand, the owner of Haas now negotiating with another dude that wants to sell. Not a restaurant, bar.
Well, that has to be approved by council.
The point I'm making is that I don't care whether we get it or not, but Haas has a liquor store. It's gonna be.
Was the takeout part of that?
That's my opinion.
You're right.
That was part of it.
Yeah. This is, we'll take that offline. Yeah, Audrey?
The facade sign grant idea, does that have any legs here? I didn't know if that was something that maybe you were thinking of doing, or not.
So it's been a topic of conversation, nothing has been officially adopted yet as far as to be used. I wouldn't take it off the table, I would just say it's something that we're considering adding back on, that we wanna make sure we have a full plan first. Not just to offer small dollar amounts for signs, but maybe elaborate on that.
Okay, that's fine. We certainly have which you probably do too, have all of the old documentation for the
Absolutely.
prior. And that seemed like that was very well received and really helped a lot of businesses. So I would, put my downtown business hat on and say that that would be something that would be very much welcome in small amounts, small incremental amounts.
Correct.
The other thing is just to, harken back to the discussion last time on the creek. And I always hear everybody say, well, we can't do anything because of a lot of reasons. But I really do think that there are things that we could do. It would just seem to me that, and maybe this is not the board to do it, maybe council is, but I don't know that there's been any movement there. So maybe you guys could be the impetus to put together the best heads regarding that. I feel like if the county were involved, if the township were involved, if we had some people that knew about creek things, if we had somebody from DEP involved, we have so many of them in town, that we could really get, I think, some really good discussion going on what things we could do. And
So I'm not sure-
sometimes,
Yeah, I don't wanna cut you off, I'm not sure if you were at the meeting or part of the discussions that we're having, but, Vince had come to the last council meeting, and I
Mhm.
apologize again for not bringing up my notes, Vince, I had a lot of people to address that evening. But, you know, one of the things that we discussed here at the UEZ was putting together a letter of recommendation to the council to convert the Environmental Advisory Committee to a commission, which opens up funding for additional dollars from everywhere from DEP across the state, federal dollars, and do exactly what we're doing. Because the UEZ itself has limited ability to touch that waterway, but the township has all the ability based on its committees that are out there. And with the commission, the dollars are earmarked for that. So we're looking at ways to be able to channel those dollars the right way to do exactly what you're talking about, because, you know, we're looking to do things like, for instance, putting green space downtown, utilizing the waterway, putting in canoe and kayaking launches over there. And in order to do that successfully, you have to have a creek, and you have to have a waterway that's not filled with silt and garbage that goes down there. So we're well aware of exactly what's to get done.
the
So
only
it's-
thing that sets us apart from Morristown and Haddonfield,
Right.
otherwise we're just a place with a bunch of old buildings.
Right, so it's on the radar, it's on the map. I can tell you, I've been actively working with the Army Corps of Engineers to get you the information as well as different avenues. So it is not being underlooked.
Oh, and I don't think that it was
Yeah.
at all, and I appreciate all that. I guess I guess my thought is that, I don't know how it goes here, but I know at our house, we plan for a really, really long time, and planning takes like forever, right? And so it seemed to me that if maybe we could get some discussions going with the brightest people in the room, that maybe that would be a great start. That doesn't cost $1,
No,
right?
it doesn't, but what I can
And-
tell you,
Yeah.
Audrey, is one of the problems is that unfortunately, the creek area, being the way that its channel was developed and put into place, we're dealing with 4 levels of government now. We're dealing with
I understand.
local, county, state, and federal, and every one of those needs to give the blessing to get anything done. And I'll just give a quick little snippet, just so you can kind of understand why some of these take so long. I know there's been conversation in the past about things like our truck traffic downtown and everything else, right? This has been a hot topic recently.
I'm not
especially
complaining
because
about it
there's a
taking
truck
that
right
long.
over there, Mill Street, causing
Money
problems
to
today,
provide for it.
right? But, so, in order to get what we need to get done, not only do we have to do something, we need to have all of our connecting towns, which connect to those roadways, provide an agreement and a resolution to what we wanna do. The county also has to agree, and unbeknownst to us, now the state requires NJDOT approval to get those signed off. So there are multiple layers to just say, sure, we can limit 16, but it's even worse with the creek, because now we're
Rich,
dealing with.
I
DEP and
don't mean to
others.
cut you off,
Yeah.
but it's my life, okay, so
Right.
I get it, I get that there's 7 layers, I'm with you, I totally understand. I'm just saying that I do believe that there are some things that possibly could be done, maybe I am really wrong, but it wouldn't hurt, would it, to get some of the brightest and best in the room to start
no,
having the discussions?
correct.
I'm not, it costs nothing, right, and if it's useless, it's
Get them
useless.
interested in what's going on here, show it to them. I mean, I know it's complicated, everyone.
The more people that make voice, maybe the quicker it'll happen, but no one is saying we shouldn't do that. So I think we're all in agreement.
So how do we move that forward from just agreeing?
Do we set up a subcommittee? We'll look at it.
I think that's a conversation that needs to be brought up at the Environmental Advisory Committee, because that's where the committee's designed for.
Our committee and also the council.
Well, and the council, but we have to take the advisement from the committee, and hopefully at some point becomes a commission.
I'd be happy to meet with the committee and council and a representative from UEZ.
I'm on the committee, so we can obviously have that discussion.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. and then
I'll
we'll
take
go
my
forward.
comments to the environmental committee, commission, whatever it is now.
Good. Maureen?
Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday,
All
Maureen
day.
Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. Just, before I was gonna say, I just wanna follow up what, was just said about the creek. So, Rich, you just got here, right? I mean, to the council. So for 2 years now, since you're over there, I've been listening to a lot of folks talk about this creek and its demise, and it's been demising for 2 years. So I can appreciate what you're saying, that they're gonna have a meeting or whatever, but it's been 2 years I've been listening to people in this town talk about that creek. So 2 years forward, 2 years back, we still haven't got a subcommittee, we still haven't sat down and talked to anybody. The township's not talking to the UEZ's not talking to the environmental. 2 years, okay, that I've been listening to her and many other people from when we were in that building talking about this demise of this creek. So I just wanna put that out there, cause I wanted people to understand, this is not something that's just the last few months. This has been a long time now of people talking about that creek, long time, giving good suggestions about the Army Corps of Engineers, the fact that I think someone mentioned everything is already there that needs to be there, it just needs to be operational. I just wanna put that out there. So, my thing is, I just wanna talk about the 5-year plan, and the survey that came about from last year. Do we have any input from, or can you show me measurable outcomes of what was surveyed when people filled out that survey, okay, last year, and what has been done? Has there been grant money that's been used to, I think there were things like, put benches in the park, there was, put surveillance cameras downtown area to monitor the businesses, upgrades to the park, there was, let's see, I guess my question is there a plan of action? When we say, we keep saying, every time I go on the internet, I'm seeing this thing that says Mount Holly, a town with historic roots. So, if I'm just coming in, and it says a town with historic roots, does that mean that we no longer have historic roots, or are we just saying that we are a town with historic roots? Which verbiage, which adjective that we're using here to describe this town that we live in with historic roots? Are we saying past, present, with historic roots, because now we don't have historic roots anymore? Or are we saying that we actively are a town with historic roots? If we're actively a town with historic roots, we have to do a little bit more. I just don't see enough getting done. Speaking wise, meeting wise, committee wise, it's just not enough. It's too many moving parts here. Everybody's moving with their own set agenda, and we keep talking about the same things. When are we gonna all come together? If we do another survey, what happened with the survey from 2024? I filled it out. Where's the measurable outcomes? That's a year ago almost. Where's the measurable outcomes from that survey to show me as a resident that UEZ is doing the things that they asked on that survey they put out? Where's the next survey? If you're gonna have a plan of action strategically, to work together, specifically for the creek, is that gonna be open to the public? Is it gonna be published? Is it gonna be another survey that comes out? That's all I have, guys.
Dave? I see you getting ready to stand up.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Pretty much consider the 9 of you pretty smart people, so I have to reiterate what was said here, that we become in agreement and we communicate with the other boards and the other structures and try to plan a point of action. I just came from a town, not sure what it was called, Marlin. I took a swim in it. It had a nice beach. I pulled over. I put on my swim trunks, went in, took a nice little swim in it. There was a little beach in there. They had a little diving thing. It was all prepared. It was really lovely. The water was nice and cool. I came out of there refreshed, and I'm like, wow, why can't we have something like that? So that'd be great. As far as we're, following up with that, if we can all come on the board and have agreements so that we can take a course of action and see it and actually kind of promote it as well, we'd be great. That'd be something. Now, my other question is, are we gonna continue the tax rate that we had before for the business? I think we had a special tax rate.
UEZ is 3.5,
Right.
7, whatever. it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that gonna
That
continue?
doesn't change, correct.
Okay, so, cause a couple of business people, when I was talking to them, they were concerned it was gonna expire.
Yeah, no, as long as the business has applied and is a UEZ business, they will get taxed at that percentage of rate.
Okay, so that's gonna last for another 2 years?
Until such time that the state determines no such thing as a UEZ zones.
Okay.
Which hopefully is never, because.
Perfect.
now that
I
we're
can
only
let them know
under
that.
UEZ,
Yeah, they were concerned about that, so I'll let.
Yeah, I would say if they're already a UEZ business, that's great, it's not gonna change. If they're not, I would employ you to advise them to reach out to Sean and become a UEZ business.
Okay.
Because it is beneficial for them to do that.
Perfect, I'll let them know that. The other question was, the 5-year plan, I was reading on it and increasing some of the business and everything. Is there gonna be course of actions that we can pinpoint on what we're doing?
So, you brought it up, and kind of summarize it all at the end, so if no one else has any questions, I'll kind of give a quick summarization. And I know sometimes it looks like things take a little bit of time to get done, and it's frustrating, but it's frustrating to us as well. But one of the things that we have to do, like for instance with the survey, we received all those surveys, we got the questions and answers, we did it, and we took everything into consideration, and we generalized those requests that were on there and submitted them to the state for a 5-year plan. And we had to basically say to the state, UEZ, you know, what projects out of those 5-year projects are we gonna do in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5? It doesn't mean we have to do those in year 1 through 5, but they wanted that, right? Now, once that's done, now it's up to the UEZ board to go through and figure out what the next step is. And there's multiple steps in the process, so we can have a collaborative conversation here at the firehouse and decide, you know, we'd like to do X, Y, and Z. For instance, you know, Maureen brought up the security camera stuff. We talked about it, I believe, a week, the last meeting, or the meeting before that, right? And we had to go out, we learned we had to go for RFP for that. So we're getting back to the appropriate request for proposals for that to get back to review. Once we receive that, we can pick a vendor for that, and then once we have that, we have to submit that again, even the 5-year plan approved, to the state UEZ board to then approve again the approval,
Okay.
to then get the funding, to then do that. And they meet once a month, if that, and if we miss a cutoff, it could be a 2 months before we even heard, or if they're backed up from the other UEZ board. So, we're moving as fast as we can with some of these topics, but we are out of restraint and getting some of the stuff done legally to then push it through all different.
Cause I'm also forming an organization, right now I'm in the preliminary and choosing a name. So is there anything that we can do, as people, as a community, and particularly different organization, mine in specific, would be very happy to volunteer and help you along with it. If there's anything we can do, painting, cleaning, improving, contributing.
Yeah, I would
you
say
know.
if you're creating your organization, or those who wanna help out, reach out to Sean, provide the information.
Okay.
If there's a utility that comes up where your organization can be a benefit, we absolutely will reach out.
Okay, cause I got about 200 people at this point that, we're gonna start forming, so we're gonna reach out to you.
Oh, yeah, there's only so much
Great.
money in the pot, and we're just getting now, finally, over the
Great.
course of many years, funding back to the UEZ to give us some of these things. So any help is definitely, you know.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you so much.
I don't see anybody else, so, with that, I'm gonna close the public portion of the meeting, and we're gonna go into some projects that we're gonna, discuss and vote on, and again, anything that's here, we'll move forward with. So we have, the Clean Team Project, I'm not sure, Sean, if you wanted to talk about that, Norm, if you wanna talk about that, Clean Team, piece of it.
Yeah, so I spoke to Tim, Public Works.
Yep.
And we're gonna work with Public Works, on the areas in the UEZ that could use the most cleaning, especially, you know, the parks. So the parks have recently, since the 5-year plan, been added to the urban enterprise zone. So those will be obviously part of, where the clean team focus.
And this Clean Team piece is also, where we're gonna be doing some funding for people who walk around there dedicated to pick up trash and things, so
Right.
there should be a cleaner presence at the parks, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Along with downtown.
Along with downtown.
Right, so I think one of the discussions that we should have is, cost, you know, as far far as, what type of, equipment we need, if we need any equipment, if we need a vehicle, to get these people from one place to the other.
I think we talked briefly at one of the meetings, you know, obviously, we initially talked maybe from the funded PD project that we did about getting, you know, whether it was golf course or if it was, little quads, or whatever those things were with a little back on it. And I mentioned Camden and the crew over there, right, and that, we may wanna get, one of those devices so we can put things like garbage cans and pick up sticks, to pick up trash off the ground, and whatever they may need, so they're not lugging around. And also, we don't want, as we continue to improve the quality of the parks, we don't want our public works trucks driving over the grass and stuff, just to drop off all that kind of stuff. So a smaller vehicle will definitely help with, people getting to and from and efficiently picking up the trash and getting it back to public works. So from a vehicle standpoint, I would agree, some small type of utility vehicle to help assist with that. And obviously, we can use that same vehicle for other things, whether it be events, help distribute trash and whatnot. Right now, we're begging and borrowing from whether it's Limo or the county to get things. It would be good to be a little self-sufficient every now and then to get something done.
Along that line, there's been coordination between Main Street Lawn Holiday and the township on the dog bags.
Correct, yep.
Is that settled out? Is Tim
So,
know about that?
so see, they're already there at Public Works, so he has them. One of the things that, both Chris and Josh and I were gonna do after this meeting was gonna go over the post layouts that were given to us. So as soon as we have that, figured out, we'll be able to dictate where they need to go.
Yes, I tell you, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, Jackie put, alongside our building, we put some plantings. I have to put all these signs up, you know, curb your lawn. You know, cause it kills.
People
It
need
actually
to,
kills the
It
stuff.
does.
they dog out, they need to curb it.
Yeah, it does.
We got a couple bags there, we deal with it every day there.
So going back to the clean team project, aside from a vehicle that we need, do we have, bodies, people, how many?
You would have to put it out for,
Right, but
for application.
what were we thinking, how many people?
I was thinking two people,
Okay.
or four, two at a time.
To start,
Correct.
okay.
$15 an hour.
And they would go and split time
No,
between,
Yeah,
and they would split between the park and the downtown, and ensure that they're both kind of cleaned up. We'd know when activities were going on, so they could focus more on the park if there's certain things that are going on. Okay.
I think three is good. Good number.
That way if somebody said,
Yeah.
Two on and off, you know.
Now, do you have all the details for this, or this was a discussion
So
for
I
today?
I've reached out to a couple of other towns that have done it, so I'm waiting to get some of the.
So are we gonna vote anything today, or is this gonna be just a discussion for next meeting?
I think we need to table it, figure out how to get some.
Okay, well, then we don't need to act on it, just talk about it, so, so next month in June, you'll have, estimates on what it would cost for, a small utility vehicle, maybe uniforms that we do with PD, right, something that.
Yeah, like a vest.
Vest or whatever,
Tape,
t-shirts, you know, and then how much it would cost for 3 people, right, give or take. And how long we expect them, is this gonna be a all year round thing, is this a summertime, are we thinking, a yearly, budget line item, like you thought with this project, so is this continuous, still is looking good?
I'm thinking, yes.
Okay.
Start fiscal year 2026, which is July 1.
Okay, so if we have something in June, we can probably get it going, and then be on the July, hopefully July, if we get it fast enough on the July UEZ agenda.
Right.
So,
Right,
and
so
so we
I
can,
think we probably need to really, flesh out.
all the details between now and next meeting, yeah.
say that over again.
Questions, Nicole?
We need to flesh out the
Just
details
said-
for the clean team by
So
next
you have to,
week.
thank you.
Yeah, all the details need to be ready to go to be voted on in July, in June.
In June, cause
So
you said
UEZ,
July, I'm like,
so the
skip
state
one.
We would like to
UEZ
start
right.
fiscal year. first.
Cause of, thank you, that's
Yes.
what I was getting at.
Okay, that sounds good. Right.
Listen.
Was there anything else in that,
we're
Sean?
brain power right now.
That's all I have.
Okay, and then we do have one project on the list tonight to vote on this evening. This is the Community Events and Downtown Music Activation Project. This is gonna combine a bunch of different activities throughout the year. A new one that's being added is going to be live music at the downtown gazebo The idea is throughout the summer months, provide 5 or 6 different Fridays throughout the summer months where there could be, I would say, like what the village idiot has, where you see a single person or a duo up there doing something, providing live music for 2 or 3 hours on a Friday. It'll be all local bands that will be on there. It'll provide, music, hopefully, the business downtown gets more foot traffic, people can put more tables outside, etc. And rain dates would be on that Saturday, so it would be just moved over to the following day if there's an issue. And that would include the cost of any bands, the cost of the sound, and any mobilization that is required on that. The other thing too is the Mount Holly Family Fun Day, which is coming up, and that is for all of our Mount Holly residents, and that provides things like, obviously, hot dogs and food, and entertainment and games for the kids, etc. The other thing is their Senior Appreciation Day, and then the Summer Concert Series up at Veterans Park. All these things are earmarked to help downtown, as well as community engagement with all of our residents that are here in town. And the whole thing, each one of these activities is about $5,000 for the cost for the year. So initially the budget was for $20,000. I added an extra $5,000 for a question mark, who knows what may happen. If it's not used, it just goes back into the UEZ fund to be used on another project. But if we pass something that is underfunded, then we can't pay for it legally. So I'd rather have more money than less money for that. So that is what the Community Events and Downtown Music Activation Project request is for. Is there any members of the community that have any questions on that I may be able to help answer?
When does the concert series start?
For which?
First one?
Veterans Park.
Veterans Park?
Is it July?
Yeah.
I can remember if it was June or July.
Yeah.
The music at the gazebo, I think is a great idea.
I agree.
I think if we even, you might expand that a little bit, and maybe you would see at Main Street, Mount Holly, as part of your grant or loan program. A lot of the businesses downtown don't have enough like outdoor seating,
Oh, I know.
right? And if you have outdoor seating plus the music, that could be a big thing.
I don't disagree.
That's something that we should focus on too.
That's a good point, but also maybe spruce, adding some money to spruce up the gazebo.
Yeah, right.
I'm okay with that. I'm not sure if it can be part of this particular request, but I think we can look at that because the gazebo is in a UEZ zone. So we can, it is a little TLC,
Yeah, definitely some TLC.
on there, that's for certain. I know we talked about in the past, I've gotten the schematics from Collinswood on the parklets and whatnot, so these are things that we couldn't fund in the past because UEZ had $0. And these are things that we can fund again now, so, we should look into that. I think this is gonna be a good first try to see what that brings down. I know other towns have done this, and it took 1 or 2 years to start getting it on people's radars. Oh, you know what, in June and July, and the beginning of August, before it gets too hot, every Friday, there's live music downtown at Town XYZ. People come out with that, because they want to hear the background music, they want to eat, have a conversation, and bring people to walk around. So, I can't guarantee that it's gonna bring the woodwork out year one, but I think as we continue to do something like this, it will do it.
You know, the gazebo itself is sort of like Mark Brown, I mean, it's just one color, it's like brown. And we painted it Victorian color.
It needs to be,
I mean, it needs some repairs, but it needs.
I think if we just do a nice, teak overlay paint and seal it up, it will look really nice. I think once you start putting paint on it, like white or anything else, then it requires annual maintenance, so it becomes a nightmare every year.
Stain on it with a different color,
Nice stain.
or different.
Yeah, a nice stain on it,
Versus
yeah.
paint, it was totally different.
Yeah.
because paint kills.
That paint does kill,
Maybe just
and it's
make
not
sure
good.
They have like the nice
Yeah.
white wash stain now.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
So, I think this is a good conversation, I think so we can add on, we can add on to another topic for conversation about, I would say, like, High Street between, Ray Cocos and High to the T on maybe a UEZ beautification project that works on looking at what needs to be updated in that area over there.
That's a good idea.
Can I
So,
ask a-
and I think that can coincide, I think that's where Audrey's going, that's something that you've been brought up, probably as the township we talked about, I think 2 meetings ago about, overlapping things that Main Street does and the UEZ does. That's one that we can collaborate on and use both resources to the common goal. That's an idea that makes perfect sense, to do something like that.
Tell me again the area that you.
The downtown area, so like,
Thanks.
the Great Crocus and High down to the T. Yeah. Audrey, did I miss something there?
I didn't hear the very beginning of, I heard all the stuff about the bands, all that, but that's a UEZ project or a rec project? I missed that
UEZ
part.
project.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's lovely, and Main Street's been talking about that for a long time, so we'd like to join in and help for sure. I'm sure I speak for everybody with that, but, and marketing, marketing it, organizing it, running it.
Promoting.
Time consuming, right, and an effort. Sean has to do that? Is that, okay, he's smiling, clearly it's him. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
All
right now
well,
it'll be a
well,
UEZ, but we should absolutely need to have a conversation.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we should, when Les and you meet, let's help,
Yeah.
because that's
Sure.
a heavy lift.
Yep.
To do it right, lovely.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yes, agreed.
So is there, action on approving that, meeting minutes? Is there a second on that?
Second.
If anyone's not opposed, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. All right,
Damn.
that passes. Okay, Josh, anything this evening? No. Sean?
So the only thing I wanted to mention are the projects that are in the pipeline, public safety projects, like the classroom officers and the,
Has that been heard by the
vehicle project.
Has it been heard by the state yet?
No,
Okay,
it's probably should be on the shoot.
good agenda, okay.
Put that on for May, for May's resolution for council. and then-
For Thursday, yeah.
And then we'll sign it. Just say you want
Yes,
to-
right, just waiting for.
One last item.
Yep, that's all.
Rich, we have.
Maureen,
one
one
question.
second, let's finish a couple things
Sure,
here.
thank
Get back with you. Was there anything that any of the members of the board had discussed this evening?
Nothing at this time, so no.
No? Okay, Maureen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, just wanted to double back, Sean, I just wanted to ask about, the clean team project. It's, I heard you said something about 3 people, you're not certain if it's gonna be all year, summertime,
Yeah, Maureen, I think it was determined that we're gonna do all year.
It's gonna be
and
all
we're
year,
talking-
I just heard table, I know.
Yeah,
there's-
yeah, no, we were tabling a vote for this evening because we didn't have enough details on the cost of the, equipment to move people to and from, and if we were doing 3 or 4 people, and Sean was gonna gather information, provide the next meeting so we can vote on that, yep.
Are the people that you're looking for, is these gonna be jobs that are posted, or it's gonna be?
These will be posted jobs, yes.
Posted from the job?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep. If there's no further questions on the
Dave,
board.
Dave has a
Oh,
question.
So 2 quick questions. So we reach out to Sean to help him promote? We can help him?
Yeah, feel free
Okay.
to reach out to Sean, yes.
And the second one, for a while I was thinking, is there any way we can integrate an expo or convention center? Look for a place that's nearby or in Mount Holly that we can probably use to have more traffic. We can invite companies to come in and sort of have their displays, and the hotels can put them up, and we can use the center here for an expo.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're big enough. What I can tell you
Okay.
is that we've.
Maybe Rowan College or something like that.
Yeah, possibly, something like that.
Working with them?
Nope,
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yep. I know, yeah.
They do have a.
They do. Actually, we had,
Actually, lecture room.
the same-
On the side of that kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
They do have a-
The
they
same
do have
vendor
some,
that we
but
use
that's still
for
not as
the-
big as an expo.
the same vendor that we use for the food trucks or whatnot, he does, the expos that they was talking about, like they would do like home improvement and like landscape stuff, and they would have them, but unfortunately, like, they require like multi weekend things to go out there, and it requires a large police presence to be able to maintain the parking, and we're just a tight town, unfortunately. Yeah, so I've had it through the county.
Ace Sport has a couple of.
Yeah, we can't even bring in like a little mini circus, we have no room for them. So, that's kind of what's in town. So, yeah. So, with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks everybody for coming out. The next meeting